I don't know if anybody's heard of Darwinism, but I was taught this in college years ago. Okay. Now, Charles Darwin spoke about origin of the species on the Earth. This is what they teach you in schools. Okay. His grandfather, Erasmus Darwin, is 33-degree Mason. He's part of the Illuminati. And this is what I'm trying to say about being programmed. Okay. So he's the highest ranking master. So this, what they're teaching you here on the Earth, is a fake ideology. So the government's not telling you about your origins because, you know, there's many different species and civilisations that's been on and off this planet for eons, and they've been, you know, playing with your DNA and helping with your involvement and your upliftment. So this, you know, survival of the fittest. Well, who does that remind you of? Because your system's here. Survive, survive, survive. Stress, stress, stress. The elite, that's what they're teaching you. It's not true. I don't need them to tell me who I am. So there we go. You can see what's going on here. So I was going to put this video on, but it's a, you know, the internet's very slow. But it just talks about a man in Mexico called Akhtar, and he talks about beings of light. And what he's gone through and experienced, I've experienced that as well. He's just talking about, you know, your perception of ETs, you know, beings of light. You know, I've had what he's experienced because he's one of the part of the Mayan descendants, the old Mayan family, ancient Mayans, and he talks about seeing an interchange of information with these beings of light consciousness, and what he's experienced that I've gone through too, so I understand where he's coming from. And it's not like some kind of alien invasion, like some, you know, galactic alien invasion. It's where it's an interchange of information, but it comes from your heart. So if you're consciously in tune, you can communicate with them through thought, through your heart. But you've got to be in the right place, meditate and channel to do that. So here we are. As I spoke earlier about the chakras, I was guided to go to the main temple in 2012, and it wasn't the end of the world. I didn't listen to any of that, okay? And as you can see, the Earth is covered by an electromagnetic grid, okay? And on that grid, there's a cross-section of lines that carries energy points, which is where these ancient sites are. And they carried, you know, doorways, doorways, portals, and dimensions. And these pyramids, they are energy amplifiers on the Earth. So there's a higher intelligence that have come in and helped you with this, to put these markings on the Earth, around the Earth. Not just the pyramids, but the stone monuments around the Earth, like Stonehenge, for example, and other ancient sites. They've been put there because they carry a lot of energy, okay? And in 2012, there was a galactic alignment energy that came into the planet, which the Mayans spoke about on the calendar, like December 21st, 2012. And it was not the end of the world, which your governments are telling you. It was actually a new energy that the indigenous tribes spoke about thousands of years ago, that was going to make become a new age on this planet, to consciously awaken you and bring in these new energies, because that's what it's all about. It's about energy. Okay, and as you can see there, when I was at the pyramid, these people are standing around the pyramid. This is in December, by the way, when I was in Mexico. They're standing around the pyramid and they're holding hands and they're collecting the energies from those pyramids all the way around the Mayan temple, because it's a very, very energetic point. So they were put there for a reason. And like I said, the governments are suppressing the information. And as you can see there with the vault, there, this is a Stargate, and also on the Earth, there are Stargates on the Earth as well, which I'll speak about that quickly in a bit, and doorways and openings, just like the crop circles in the south of England, where Stonehenge is. And that's why there's a lot of energies going there, ETs, they can come in and out, and they're using energy to make those circles, which I'll explain about in a bit. Okay, now I wanted to bring this up, okay, because the government has tried to suppress this. You probably wouldn't even have heard about this, Okay, this is back in 2003, out in Iraq, Afghanistan, and the US soldiers went into a cave in Afghanistan, and they found a Vimana. Now, Vimana is what's been spoken about in the ancient Sanskrit, the old ancient Indian Sanskrit, and it was a interstellar spaceship caught in a time well. And these soldiers, 8 soldiers, went in there. They tried to remove it, and they disappeared. Now, apparently, the Barack Obama was called out there on an emergency with the leaders of the world, such as David Cameron, the Western Prime Minister, I forget what her name is, and the French Prime Minister. They went out there, but they tried to cover it up and keep it quiet. And I'm going to explain about that in a bit with the Vimana as well. So, like I said, they are suppressing so much information. They've kept this off the record. You probably wouldn't have heard about this in the media at all. You won't. They won't. They won't let you know this. But they went out there, and they found that in there, and it is stuck in a time well. So, like I said, there are dimensions and portals here on the Earth, and they're there. So,
did they come back, or did they just...
No, they've disappeared, but they've kept it absolutely quiet. The government have stopped. I was lucky to get that picture off the internet, okay, because I know for a fact that this has just been suppressed again and kept quiet, because, you know, I'll explain in a bit about the Vimana a bit more, but the world leaders went out there quickly. They went out there quick, and then they've tried to wipe. It was in the newspapers, but they've quickly got it out of the media, because they control the media. They control it all. So what they've done is just quickly got it out the papers quick, and, you know, they suppressed it. They don't want you to know. So I can't. And I remember as a child, my father took me down to the cinema back in the 80s to see the Philadelphia experiment. Again, the Bermuda Triangle was a very strong vortex on the Earth. When I talk about, as I said earlier, portals, dimensions and doorways. And they did an experiment regarding visibility, which is called Antima. And they did it because they said they did it because of World War II, because by becoming invisible, they become, you know, technology more advanced for warfare by doing that. And the ship disappeared. They made a film out of it. I remember watching it with my parents when I was a child back in the 80s. Me and my little brother and sister, mum and dad, went to see it because my dad was so open about this. And the fact is, many of the ship's crew were stuck to the ship. You know, they went through some kind of a dimension. And despite what happened, the government covered it up. All-time places and events and everything that happened. They've, again, tried to deny it and suppress it, because there is such a thing as dimensions and portals and that, and they've been suppressing this information for the last 60 years. So now we're going to come to this. Now, this was mentioned last year about the Norway spiral, okay? And basically, what is based on the heart machine, okay? The government, they've got these antennas sticking out, okay, and it's based, playing with the energies. And these antennas, what's happening is it's heating the energies is manipulating the ionosphere, of the Earth, and it's like getting a microwave oven and heating up the Earth. And what's happening is, by them doing that, it's causing a lot of interference with, like, the magnetism of the Earth, and because of that, they're manipulating the weather systems here, and that's why you've had, like, the Hurricane Katrina, for example. They're doing this. They're playing with the weather systems here, which is Gaia, Mother Earth. And they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. They just don't know. And not only are they doing that on the Earth, but also Nikola Tesla is a man who invented electricity. He spoke about energy, and he was working with the Illuminati years ago. And he said that there's 6 to 8 hertz frequency of energy for the human as there is the Earth. Okay, they know about this, the governments, so they're mind controlling you now by using the energies. They're doing that as well. And that's what that harp is doing. So this Norway spiral, that's the energies going in this, because the Earth is a third dimension. So waves everything is waveform in the universe. So it's the harp machine, and they've got one in Norway, and they've got them in other parts of the world, the governments. So they're not only mind controlling you all with the energies that they're using, but they're also manipulating all the weather systems here on the Earth, and they've got no right to do that, because this Gaia is consciousness. This Earth, she lives and breathes the same as you, because you're all connected, and that's what they're doing. So they're playing with your mind, and they're manipulating the weather systems, and it's affecting the animals and everything that's living on the Earth. So here we have a Stargate. By the way, when they went to war in Iraq, it wasn't over terrorism. No. They went there because Saddam Hussein had a Stargate. He had it in the Ziggurat temple, and he had his hands on alien technology, which goes back to the Anunnaki, because the Ziggurat temple goes back, 6,000 years.
What temple is that?
The Ziggurat temple.
How do you spell that?
Ziggurat, Cigurat, Ziggurat temple, and the artifacts that are in that temple go back 7,500 years, right back to Samaria. He had his hands on ancient technology. It was nothing to do with oil. It was nothing to do with terrorism. They went there in 2003, and then they actually they invaded the temple, smashed it to pieces, the US military. Nothing to do with terrorism or war, okay? Smashed it to pieces, took the artifacts, and took the Stargate out of the temple. Okay, and then they sealed it off for the last 10 years because they were obviously worried, because he had his hands on this Stargate. And obviously, we managed to get a picture there, But they're suppressing it again. They're hiding it from you.
Do you know where the Stargate is now?
Well, I think they've got it probably hidden away somewhere in a cave or because they've got underground bases. There's stuff going on in America you wouldn't even dream of. 2003.
Is that related to this Large Hadron Collider?
I'm going to mention that in a minute.
Right.
Okay, you can bring that up in a minute. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it because Akhtar, the same guy that was the beings of light, no one knows about energies than the Mayan people. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But yeah, basically in 2003, they didn't go there for oil, didn't go there for terrorism, and they've gone there to take that Stargate. So this is Akhtar. This is the Hadron Collider, by the way. It's in Switzerland. Okay, they're going to try and do it again this year, I think. I think they did it in 2012, and then the machine broke down. Okay, but thank God for this man. He's one of the descendants of the Mayan people. I've got the utmost respect for the Mayan people because meeting them in Mexico and that, they are very, very nice people. They're very spiritual. And basically, it's a negative device again. Yeah. It's another negative device on the Earth, just like the harp machine, okay? What it is, they're working with antimatter, and if you get 2 protons and put them together and they collide, it releases a proton. That proton hits the Earth, and what it's doing is it's causing a reaction on the Earth. So then it messes with the tectonic plates. The magma comes out, and that's why you're getting all this burning forests around the Earth, stuff like that. And it's messing with the orientation for the animals. That's why they got 10,000 fish that went dead in Brazil. and so,
since they first fired that.
right, exactly. And you know, it's the honeybees are going. And Albert Einstein has said, if they go, you've finished. If they all go, you've had it. Albert Einstein said, you're gone. So what they're doing is, this negative device is causing all these problems on the Earth. So, but Akhtar and his people in Mexico, they know about this. And what they did, they put mercury in all the lights, in all the domestic lights to sell to the Mexican people, because they were aiming the energies at Mexico, because they knew that that was a high energy point for them to you know, manipulate with the machine. Okay, because the protons, but because they're very advanced, these people, you see, the indigenous people on the Earth, they've been taught by the ETS, right? The ETS, the higher
That's why
evolved.
they've been suppressing genocide on lots.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. That's exactly right. Yeah, you'll find that the indigenous people are more knowledgeable than you think. You know, they laugh when you hear them talking about pushing a stone and building the pyramids in Egypt. They laugh because they know about levitation, and no one knows. But they know about protons, neurons, electrons. No one knows about.
In harmony with the Earth.
That's right. Absolutely. That's right, and that's why he's saying it's a negative device and it's causing all these problems. And now they're going to try and do it again this year.
March, I think.
March.
Is there anything intervening to make this?
Well, I think, like I said, there are higher beings, indigenous tribes, working with the higher consciousness, without putting any labels on it, ETs, whatever, that are working now, because they did that in 2012, and the machine broke. And because they put the mercury on it, in the light bulbs, now it stopped the protons from hitting the, because they're working with antimatter.
Who put the mercury in the light? What, in the actual?
They spent about $3,000 in Mexico in 2012, and they made these light bulbs to sell to all the Mexican people, and they put mercury in them,
And that stops the
and that stopped the energies, the protons from the CERN machine.
But listen out, if anyone hears the actual date, they're going to announce the actual date in March.
Well,
because then we will meditate to stop this.
because by them doing that, they're playing with the energies of not just the Earth, but you as well. Everybody gets affected.
Very dangerous what they're doing.
And apparently there's 90,000 holes in the Earth now,
Yeah.
from 2010 to 2012, and that's probably why you're getting all this fracking. Because it's putting black holes in the Earth. I don't know what they're playing with. They're trying to get the antimatter, you know, the theory behind it. So they're taking advantage of the energies from the universe, the governments, and they're building this CERN machine, and that's what they're doing.
Do you think it's got relationship to some kind of time machine type thing or portal?
Yeah, maybe something like that, because I've heard that it brings in some kind of dimensional beings or something they're trying to do. They're up to something. Yeah, that's it, yeah. Because they've got, you know, they work by symbols, these beings, and they've got some kind of symbol outside the CERN machine, symbolising something.
Well, yeah, it's some kind of Stargate there, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. But hopefully, there are many energies and consciousness now working in groups a lot around the Earth. There's a lot of events going on now where they're working together consciously to stop it. So there's a lot going out, you know, where there's dark, there's light too. So there's a lot of forces out there now working with it to try and stop it.
I've never liked it right from the start. And so many people said, oh, well, it's just science and they're going to find out this.
No way. It's a negative device. It broke down in 2012 and hopefully it'll break down again. Yeah, you know, with the higher forces that are working here. Well, they don't know, because the heart machine, I mean, the animals, because of they've shifted the Earth's axis by 18 degrees. Now, because of that, you know, the animals in the Earth have lost their orientation. They're bumping into each other, killing each other, and that's why, when you go back to 2012, you see all the events going on around the world where animals are getting washed up, and now you know why. Okay? So this guy talks about time and space. Like I said, the higher evolved beings, ETs, they've worked it out. You know, they can go through time is relative. My father used to speak about relativity of Albert Einstein when I was a child. Everything's based on atoms, and everything's ticked by an atom clock, and atoms vibrate. So when you think of time and space, it's personal. So it doesn't matter how fast you go. It's, you know, time is personal, space is personal. And these beings can go through wormholes and go from one universe, millions of light years, and come out another universe. So I just saw that film Interstellar. That's come out for a reason. So a lot of these films that are coming out are actually helping the ones that have come in now to help the planet, for us to wake up to our roots and find out, well, you know, okay. So there is such a thing as dimensions and portals, and scientists have spoke about it. Now, I wanted to bring this out. I just thought this is really important, talking about children in school, okay. I thought this was great, okay. Another thing, the last 2 years, your government's been putting a hell of a lot of alien films out because they know about all this, other life in the universe and other civilisations. Now in the schools, sorry, now in the schools, this is in Sunderland and Scarborough. What they're doing now in the schools, they're making out, this is the police crossing off the lines here in the schools up in Sunderland and Scarborough. The police are making out that they've had a UFO landing, UFO crashes in the schools now. Okay, this is the government, okay? And then they're sealing it off, and what they're trying to do now is condition the children to think that they're having an alien invasion. Can you see it? Look. Look at this, look, UFO up here. There, it's crashed in there. Yeah, fake. Yeah, in the school. So they can, I mean, it's bad enough to do it with the films that you put out. I mean, come on, aliens ain't going to come here and invade the planet. They're too evolved. They don't need to do that. They're not supposed to interfere with planets of consciousness. But your governments are now trying to condition the children in the schools. Yeah, basically, yeah. Then what they're going to, because they know about this. So yeah, they're doing this now, making out you having alien invasion of children, schools. So you can see what I'm talking about now. Okay. So when I said consciousness about waking up and that, I was guided to the Karnak temple in Egypt. I had the dream of Horus, which is the all-seeing eye, and based on the chakras, which is the third eye of consciousness. I had this in a dream. It was waking me up, beginning to find out who I am and stuff, why I'm here. There was a connection to it. He wasn't allowed to take pictures at the Karnak temple, but I managed to kind of sort of draw it in my mind because it was a very consciousness point, Karnak temple. It was originally the capital of Egypt. So a lot of the symbolism that's used in the universe, you know, it's a universal language that that we have and use. So it's been put here to, and they use many types of different symbols and languages to help you consciously. So here we are, 2015. I know from my awakening, many more people are probably going to be waking up now. This year, and you're talking about the CERN machine, there's energies coming in again this year to the planet, and they're trying to do it when they're taking advantage of the energies that are coming in, and they're using it in a negative way. That's what they're doing, basically. So they know, the government are fully aware of the energies that are coming into the planet. They did it in 2012, and they're going to try and do it again this year, and they're going to use the CERN machine. So what's happening around the planet now, there's a great awakening, and there's going to be an expansion of ideas. So people will want to go and teach, which is what I'm doing now, and there'll be many others that will want to go and teach. There'll be a transcending of the old systems. Many people will be getting tired and fed up and will want change. They'll get fed up with the system, survive, programming and stress and so forth. It's not about being successful, getting the big car, you know, and so forth. And they'll be letting go of energies. I found that I've had to let go of many people around me recently in the last 2 months. And that'll be happening. Many people will be cutting off people and letting go of people because they're consciously changing, they're letting go and leaving people behind, so that'll be happening. And there'll be a transitioning going on now. There's lots of energies coming in. So it might be the tipping point this year, actually. Because I think that also there'll be an increase in UFO activity, and there'll be many, many more close encounters with ET encounters and so forth. Because where you're consciously waking up, they've taken an interest in you. They know that you're evolving, you're consciously awakening. They know the planet's changing. They know you're changing. So they're showing themselves to you more. Many more people will have. There'll be an increase in that kind of activity going on now. Because now you're, waking up to a galactic family. You're not alone, okay? So that's going to be happening now. Because, you can see by the government, they're trying to condition now to make out you're going to have an alien. They're going to try and think you are going to have an alien invasion now. That's what they're going to do now. They're going to try and do that now. Think you're having an alien invasion to the whole planet. Not just to condition the children, but with everybody. They'll use that now.
They're creating an us and them.
Yeah.
So they can control.
Yeah, and that's why they're putting all these alien films out. Things like Battleship, War of the Worlds, all these films they've put out, haven't they? What was it? LA, whatever. There's so many alien films they've put out, but in a negative way. And it's not, so they're doing it now. So there'll be more interaction with crafts, and there'll be more public protests, I think, now. And I think this is going to be happening now. People waking up, more people public protesting against the government and so forth. So all that will be happening now. Yeah. So, I love Albert Einstein. He's such a great theorist. So when I look at him, how I see the world, it's just an illusion to me, because we're multidimensional. So, looking at his theory, thoughts, and we're not separate. So it's just an optical delusion of consciousness. So, how I see the world, it's, so forth. So the war on consciousness now is to do with banking, education, food and drinks, media, law, global warming, religion, HARP, and the CERN Hadron Collider. They're using that now. Okay. Air and health. And then what they're going to probably do next is make out you're going to have an alien invasion in time to come. Because they're fully aware.
If you look on YouTube, Dan Brown at the Disclosure Project, I don't know if any of you have seen that a few years ago. Carol Rossen, she worked for them, and she said Von Braun said before he died, the last card that the government are going to play is a fake alien invasion.
Yeah, they will. They're going to try that.
And they're working with holographic technology to bring that out as well.
Yeah, I think it's called.
That's the ace card up their sleeve.
Oh, what's the name of it now?
So I recommend you all to try and find the Disclosure Project by Stephen Gear on the internet.
It's called
very
Project
amazing.
Bluebeam. The plan
That's it, Project Bluebeam. Yeah.
But
Okay.
it was all brought up at the Disclosure Conference a few years ago. I mean, you've got top academics talking about all this. And Carol Rossen worked for Von Braun, and he said that was the last card they were going to play, and he had privy to that information.
There's a lot of information out there about it. It's kind of spoiled their plans a bit, because Project Bluebeam is known to a lot of people now.
Well, they use
Yeah,
that
they're going to use that. Yeah, they will use
they
that.
used that Bluebeam technology with 9/11. It's hypothesised. That's another thing they did with the 9/11 towers. The holographic technology.
Oh, what's
and
this?
the Japanese government, again, if you look on YouTube, the Japanese government have got an 11-part YouTube where just after 9/11, the Japanese government were questioning 9/11, and they brought it all out. And if you think what happened to Japan a little bit long after that, they got Fukushima. So
Yeah, because they
there's a lot
wanted
going
Japan
on.
to join them, and they said no. So that they caused that. They used the heart machine.
Yes.
They did.
They probably used the heart machine.
And now you've got Russia.
That's what caused the earthquake in Japan, the heart machine. There, see?
So it's all coming out now.
Yeah, that's right. And the more that the truth comes out, because light is information, knowledge is power, and the more it comes out, the sooner can get them arrested, because they're going to have to get. They can't run. They can't hide.
But I reckon fake alien invasion is their ace card.
Yeah, but
and there's rumours that they've got a base on Mars, and they've actually done a lot of cloning now, and they've actually got psychopathic soldiers. They've cloned an army of soldiers that are soulless, and they just kill on demand.
Super soldiers.
Super soldiers.
Yeah, I think my mum told me a little while back. She saw it on the news, because I don't watch the TV. But she told me that they were talking about sending people to Mars.
Yeah,
but you can't come back.
No, but they've had a base on Mars since the 60s.
This morning, talking about that.
Yeah.
They want
That's
to
what
go
my
to
mum told me.
Mars and don't come back.
So, you know,
it's already colonised.
why do that?
Yeah.
They've already got it planned, what they've got. There's an agenda behind it.
The televisions on.
You don't know what they're going to do to you on Mars, do you? I'd hate to think.
Well, they do. I wasn't listening. No, they were just watching, you know, I was working and, you know, whatever. So it was weird.
Mars is different. How can I explain this?
Somebody said that wouldn't work because the Scots wouldn't be able to, was it dip the, they eat Mars bars with, I've forgotten what it is now, what is it? Well, the Scots, they dip them in batter, that's right.
See, Mars, I think they've had that as an alien base for eons.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
The reptilians. Because the NASA are hiding all this. They've got pictures. And of course they're going to deny it. But it's been an alien base for eons, thousands of years, used Mars. They've seen pictures of bases on there and everything. So there's an agenda behind it again. That's the way I see it. So then we come back to the universe. So everything's based on codes, like numerology, symbols. Everything's mathematics in the universe. The Mayans know that, the indigenous tribes know it, and the higher beings, consciousness, ETs, without putting labels on them. They've been coming on and off this planet for eons, helping you with your upliftment, sharing their knowledge, going back to Egypt and the indigenous tribes like the Dogon tribe, the Aborigines in Australia. I mean, how did they know the Dogons in Africa, West Africa? How did they know about the star systems? You know, but the governments are just suppressing everything. You know, they're hiding it from you, and there's much more than that. You know, I've just found a Stonehenge in Syria. It's 10,000 years old, but they won't let the scientists go near it. So everything's based on that. And I found that looking at the crop circles, you know, it really did send some triggers in me. And it's like I'd come out of a long dream state and consciously resonated with those symbols and geometry and stuff, because everything is based on that. And that's it. Come back to the crop circles. You know, again, when you look at the crop circles, they put the chakras there. So they've been helping you with your upliftment. These other consciousness, other energies, ETs, higher consciousness have been coming in and been putting energies into the crop circles. The Mayan calendar, so they're helping you come out of your long dream state, whatever it is that resonates with you, to help you with your upliftment and, you know, your awakening consciously. I mean, this is 1974. This was sent out by an astronomer in South America, a set of binary codes, and he came back in 2001 and ended up outside his laboratory in the crop field. And the binary code that he set out was the human DNA, that we do mathematics, what type of DNA we have, and he used what you call an antenna, but it was a radio antenna. And then they came back, and some of them, we had 9 planets and so forth. And then they came back and said, you know, we've got like so many planets, our DNA is this, and we've got a microwave antenna, and showed them their DNA and so forth. And NASA denied it, because he sent it out with NASA, 1974, and they denied it, NASA. And then they came back with this as well, and it had a binary code, and it says, beware of bearers of false gifts. Well, what does that remind you of? And there's still conduit closing, but there's still time out there in a binary code, and he worked it out. So they're here helping you. And then they put a picture of an alien up, which looks like, I don't know, a grey, or whatever you would call it, maybe shall I say, the malevolent ones. So it's a message. So, and also then you've got the flower of life, which is the Taurus. That's talking about free energy on the earth, to get you away from this dirty fossil fuel which these governments are controlling to feed off you. There's no need for it. You've had free energy on the earth for over the last 100 years. But now people are consciously waking up, communities start working together now and working it out and getting the information now you know, we can start working it out and getting it together and coming out with these new energies now. And then you've got the butterfly and so forth. So they've been here with your upliftment, consciously helping you. Copter circles. I was going to show you a video, not enough time because. So then we have the future. That's what I'd like to see for my children. Yes, there will be disclosure. 2017, I think there will be disclosure, but it won't be from America. I think it'll be from either China, Russia, or India. And I think by 2025, 2033, you will have contact. But they are showing them, like there's an increase, there will be an increase in UFO activity and ET encounters, and I think they're doing it slowly. They're doing it slowly to wake you up because they're trying to show you that you're not alone. Okay, because they know what's going on. They're doing it gradually because if they land here now, you'd probably jump in the air and run and jump on the fence. And well, I personally wouldn't, but I wouldn't. But some, you know, other people will probably be so scared and frightened by it that they would probably run, wouldn't know how to deal with it. Okay, so.
Say a ship did land outside, just, you know, how would we know whether it was a ship from the malevolent ones or not? Because there are both, aren't there?
Well, the malevolent ones, the bad ones, as you call it, interdimensional, the draconians, whatever. You know, David Icke mentioned this as well, and you'd know that they were bad because I've been told if you see one, who spoke about this? Alex Collier. Okay, he's had contact with the Andromedans, and they've told him all about this. So the draconians, there's different types of reptilian species, but you've got the real bad ones. There are good reptilians that are working, good ones. That are working now to help with the planet consciously, but the malevolent ones, the badder ones, they're the ones that will take it down and go and feed off you.
How would I know, like if the ship landed?
How would you know?
Energies.
You'd pick up on the energy. I would pick up on the energy. I mean, if it was a 7-foot draconian with a long tail, I'd run. Okay, I'd run. Because they are ruthless warriors, I've been told. You know, they're the ones that have been seen in, I think back to the Mayans. They're like 7 foot tall. They've got very long, the ones with the long tails, they're classed as royalty. They're the ones I'd run from. They'll kill you. You know, that's what I've heard. That's what I think. But I mean, most ETs in the universe, ETs, without putting labels on it, consciousness, they're very, very lovely beings. The greys are the ones that, not all greys, but certain greys, the ones that are abducting humans and pick up cattle and cut them and then throw them back down on the ground in America or wherever. They're just robbing, just abducting you because the species are dying. And they work with the draconians. The badder greys are working with the malevolent draconians because they're working. And they're what classed as the demons or the fallen angels written in your ancient Bible text. Interdimensional beings, they're the lower dimensional parasites of the universe. And either feeding off humans as a negative energy source, or they're feeding off you as a food source, which are the royalty ones. You know? And that's why a lot of these Illuminati and those in power, they're doing all these sacrificials and all this stuff they're putting in the music.
Oh, yeah.
And all this symbolism.
Yeah,
Can't you?
yeah.
Don't you get it?
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's based on now.
But it lowers the
Their
energy.
cult-
and
yeah,
they
it's
can
their-
harvest the energy.
Yeah, satanic and
And people get frightened and upset. And they
yeah,
feel
I
it.
switch it away from me.
Fear.
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear,
It's
that's
the
right.
fear factor that makes them successful.
Yeah.
Our fear.
That's right. But the thing is, if everybody come together and came with love, they can't feed off that.
Yeah.
It's finished for them. Like I said, they're the parasites of the universe. They feed off your fears.
So the wrong time,
Yeah, they are. They're part of it. I heard there's a warrant out for their arrest.
There is.
There's
but
children
people
gone
are
missing in
arrested.
Canada. The Queen went over there with Prince Philip.
my partner's had, unfortunately, his grandmother died about a month or so ago, and there's, it's all going through probate at the moment, and he's been looking into probate, and do you know where the money goes to from probate? It goes to the Duchy of Cornwall.
No.
Really?
All monies probate go to Prince Charles. Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, they've got their fingers in all the pies, haven't they?
They're parasites.
No,
They're
parasites.
They feed off other
feeding
people.
off of other people.
That's right.
So it's no different.
You're just a food source to them,
Exactly.
you know, and that's why the systems are the way they are. Because you're living on a prison planet.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a prison planet, and that's why these higher consciousness and beings have come in now, helping in different ways to help the planet. They can't just land here, so they're doing it a different way.
And
But-
beware of the robot people. One of their plans is to humanise people by putting chips in there.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's reading in your Bible text, the mark of the beast, RFID chip.
That
No, I
is a big danger.
would not touch that at all. I'll tell you why. If you take that chip, you will not only just be a barcode to them and controlled completely, but it also plays with your. You'll be cold. You'll play with your DNA and your spirit.
You become.
You'll become
That's a
numb
big danger.
spiritually. Your DNA,
Yeah, of course.
because everybody has a blueprint.
They want to
That's
turn us
another
into
thing.
robots.
So what's written in your Bible about God knowing every hair on your head? You all, your soul, all of you, everyone on the earth, you have a blueprint.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Of course.
So, and they know this, the government. So that's what their intentions are their agenda is not.
They want your soul.
Yeah.
Unless you conform, you just tell them no.
Anyway, so there's going to be a lot of public protest. There's going to be a revolution going on now, and
Bring it on.
yeah, off you go. Separation. Many more are going to start waking up now, and just getting tired and fed up with it all. Because the more information that's coming out, the more light that comes out, the more people are going to wake up. And already around me alone, now my family are not all awake. Okay, they probably think I'm bonkers, but my mum is, and so is my nephew. My nephew's only 26.
Up a lot faster now.
Yeah. But because I've been talking to people recently, because of what's going on, now travel's fast. Now people are starting to wake up. Oh, you know what? It's got a point now. Hang on a minute. Hang on. So that's what's happening. And the more people
Critical mass, I think we're reaching critical mass, and after that starts to travel really fast.
Well, that's another thing that's going to be happening now because of what this revolution. That more communities are going to start coming together now and start working it out.
Yeah.
Like that guy tonight with the schools. I used to be a teacher. No, I'm going to do this. So that's what's going to be happening now. People are going to start coming together as communities, start contributing to society, start working it out.
Yeah.
And getting it together and coming away from these governments and from the systems and deprogramming themselves and bringing new energies on the earth because they're already speaking about it now and the government can't really they're trying to stop it but they can't because it's all out in the open now. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's what's happening now. There'll be new and the higher forces are helping as well with the planet because the planet's dying.
Do you think that as more light energy comes into the planet, it's like the negative energy gets weaker as a result?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I would think.
The more positive energy, the more light that comes in, the harder it is for them to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
Do
You get a lot of disturbance first.
Right.
Yeah.
It brings up the rubbish.
Yeah, because they see us as a disease. It's like watching the film The Matrix. I mean, President Obama stand there and said, "What do you want, the blue pill or the red pill?" Anyway, I've got to finish now. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will. Whereabouts and everything on the tag page.
Yeah, the book is being published. the media will start putting everything out, and it will go up on the tag page, everything.
Right, lovely.
So you'll all see it soon.
Yeah, so keep us posted with
I will
everything.
do. It's going to be a good year.
So
Thank you,
thank you very
everybody.
much.
Thank you very much.
everybody.
Yeah.